Hey, and welcome to some lazy content to tide myself over while I work on bigger things. Today I'm just doing I'm doing tier lists. These are not ones I've made, these are just templates that I came across on the tier maker website. And I've just got a couple here. I'm gonna do 2000s to 2010s horror movies and a horror movie franchise one as well. Just cause, I don't know. Again, didn't make them, these are just the template ones. Somebody else made them. In fact, it probably tells me who made this one. Rosalie Vile made this one. There you go. So yeah, these are the 2000s to 2010s horror movie list thing. And I've already put the ones in here for the ones that I haven't seen, because, I don't know, that's boring. You don't want to see me say the ones I haven't seen. I got nothing to say about them. Some of them I might have seen some of, but not enough of to count. Like, I don't know, The Man That Dreaded Sundown. I'm pretty sure I've seen some of that, but it leaves no impression. So I haven't seen. Yeah, and so the tiers that I've actually got here, the top one is called So My Thing, like it's just for me, I'm in love. The next down is really great, no real complaints. The next down is, well, I slapped my knees, I thought that was alright, that was pretty good. And then not great / not for me. There's going to be a few in here where they're going to be there and it might piss some people off, but I've put not for me in there as well, because that's an important element to that tier, okay? Then there's, come on man, you can do better, and just like, that's pretty bad. And then just shit. Just shit. I don't need to explain what that means, it just means just shit. Okay, let's get to it. So, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'm gonna put with, well, I'm gonna contradict myself already, because I do have a big complaint about this actually. I'm gonna put it in really great, because I do think it's really great, but no real complaint. You know what? Just really great film. No real complaints. I do have a real complaint about the first one. I've already fucked this up. I do think 10 Cloverfield Lane is fantastic. It has a whole bunch of tension in there. My god, I love the scenes where they are in the bunker down there and everything, and the mystery and the just the suspense rising the entire time. It's ingenious right up until the end, which I won't spoil, but I hate the ending of 10 Cloverfield Lane so much, and that's why it does not get an I'm in love rating. It just gets a really great film rating. I do really love 99% of that movie, but that ending really just pisses me off. Then there's 1408. I'm gonna put that in the same place. Really great film. I think more people should see it. I don't think a lot of people talk about that one. I think it's really daunting, to be honest. Like, it's really effective, surprisingly so, more than you might think. If you haven't seen it. That's a massive recommend, actually. Then there's 30 Days of Night, which I think that's alright. It's a pretty good movie. I like the premise. You know, they're stuck in, is it Antarctica? It's somewhere like that, where for the whole month, like, the sun doesn't come up. It's night for a full month, and then there are vampires, and that's not a good situation to be in, but it makes for a hell of a good movie. Then there is American Psycho, which, yeah, I'll put in the same place. I thought that was alright. I'm kind of a fan of it. You know what? I'm gonna put that in really great, actually. Sorry. I like that it's kind of like a funny movie at points. You know, it's fucked up as well, I suppose, but like, it's more just like the satire of the business guy and everything, and like, he has no humanity. Then there's Annabelle, the first Annabelle. I don't think the first Annabelle is great. I do like the sequels, surprisingly. It's one of the few kind of horror series, franchises, whatever. Is it a franchise if there's only 3? Probably, maybe. Yeah, it's one of the few where the sequels are better. Both of 2 and 3, particularly 3. I actually really, really like 3. Way better than the first Annabelle, which is just okay. Then there is Black Swan, and this is what I was talking about with the not for me section. I'm not going to say that Black Swan is a bad movie, okay? I know that a lot of people find a lot in there to appreciate. I will admit, I'll be the first to admit I didn't get it. It was a head scratcher for me. I don't love that movie. I really don't. So sorry if you do. Then there's the Babadook, which I feel a little bit similar with that as I do Black Swan, where I don't think it's fully... I don't find as much to appreciate in it as much as other people, mainly because, I don't know, it's quite boring for me. Does that make me sound like some sort of child? Probably. I don't love it, but I do think it is pretty good. And yeah, it deserves to be like mid-tier for me. That's going to drive some people absolutely insane. I know a lot of people think that The Babadook is like one of the greatest horror movies, at least of the 2010s. I don't, personally. Sorry. Then there is Blair Witch. This is the one from 2016. I remember that it was from 2016 because this was one of the early movies that I reviewed when I was like first starting out in 2016. And yeah, I'm putting that in. That was alright. Blair Witch, you know, the Blair Witch Project, that whole thing, it's not really for me. Again, there's the not for me, but don't be so literal, okay? Don't worry about the names. It's focus on the colors. Red means good, green means bad, okay? The 2016 Blair Witch I don't think is great, but it does have like these time travel elements to it, and it's fucking sick. The end of that movie, like the final act, I'm really into. I surprisingly like that movie, even if I don't like found footage movies typically. Then there's Cabin in the Woods, and that is so my thing. And I am so in love with that. Cabin in the Woods is just like, it's meta, it's clever, it does things that like, you know, it turns the genre on its head, as it were, as people say. I hate when people say that, but here I am saying that. Then there is the Carrie remake. I think that's a really great film. Yeah, I do. What are you going to do about it? I haven't seen the original. I'm so sorry. And it might be on camera just there as well. I'm not sure. I've got the Blu-ray of the original right there, and I've yet to watch it. So, fuck me, right? Instead of making videos like this, maybe I should be watching movies that I probably should have seen, right? But here we are. Then there's Cheap Thrills, and you know what? That's a pretty awesome movie. That's a big recommend if you're into the horror genre, if you can handle some fucked up things happening. It's basically a movie about this rich guy who is just, I guess, is bored. I don't remember all the details. I haven't seen it for quite a few years, but he's bored and he's just like daring people to do things for money. And obviously, you know, as you would suspect, things heighten, it gets more and more escalated, and some more dangerous things kind of happen as he kind of begins to want the contestants to do more. And yeah, that's a pretty awesome movie. Then there's Cloverfield, the original Cloverfield. I'm going to put that in not for me. I know a lot of people really appreciate Cloverfield. Again, with the found footage, I don't love found footage, and it doesn't have the time loop gimmick of 2016's Blair Witch, so yeah, it's not for me. Then there's Clown. I don't fully remember this movie that well, but I'm gonna put it in really great because I remember loving it, liking it, at least quite a lot. It is a strange premise. It's about a movie. It's a movie about a man who is literally like becoming a clown. He puts on a clown costume and makeup and stuff, and it's like it becomes this body horror where he can never take the costume off, and he's just doomed to forever be this clown, and it starts like eating away at him and all this stuff, and it gets pretty dark, but yeah, I think that's a pretty awesome movie. Then there is, what's this? The Conjuring 2. I'm going to put that... do I put that in so my thing? I really love The Conjuring. I think I'm going to put it in really great for the moment. Maybe I'll move that a bit later. But then there's the First Conjuring, which, you know, come on. I love that. I love the First Conjuring. James Wan is my boy. He is, if you ask me, the master of horror, at least in like the 2010s or whatever anyway. But I don't know, in my opinion, kind of all time. I'm going to put The Conjuring 2 in that one as well, actually. I changed my mind. Then there is Creep. I'm going to put Creep in... I thought that was alright. I know a lot of people love that one as well. Bit artsy-fartsy for me, maybe, but I do really like kind of this the weird tension that it grows between the two characters. The Duplass guy who like seems sort of on edge, like not on edge, but like he seems like he's about to do something at all times, but you're not really sure because he remains kind of friendly throughout the whole thing. And I do like the uncomfortableness of that. I don't love the kind of weird mumblecore, if that's what we call it, approach. That's just not really my kind of genre, but I do think it's pretty good and definitely worth seeing. Then there is Curse of Chucky, which I think is alright. I actually watched that one recently because I'm doing some videos about Chucky, okay? Look out for that soon. Unless I did that first and you've already seen that, and that was weeks ago. It's hard to plan things as a YouTuber sometimes, okay? But yeah, I think that's a good movie. better than Bride and Seed of Chucky, if you ask me. Curse of Chucky takes itself a bit more seriously, and it's more of like a haunted house movie, except the haunting is Chucky himself, I suppose. And yeah, I like that. Then there's 2004's Dawn of the Dead remake. I'm putting that in really great. I loved that when I was a kid. I love it now. It's probably the first horror movie that I really loved, because I was scared shitless of everything when I was a kid. I couldn't watch any horror stuff. I just wasn't my thing at all. But Dawn of the Dead, for some reason, like when I was a kid, I found zombies funny, not scary, and I loved Dawn of the Dead. So there you go. Then there's Dead Silence. I'm going to put that in. I think that's alright, which I feel a bit bad for, because again, that's James Wan, much like The Conjuring and Conjuring 2 right there. Look, Dead Silence is clearly not as good as some of the movies that he makes later on, but I definitely would say it's worth watching if you haven't seen it, if you're into this genre and everything. I do think it's really good, especially for being such an early work, you know, for the director's filmography. That being said, his first film, Saw, I think is a hell of a lot better than Dead Silence, so I don't know what I'm saying, I guess. Then there's The Descent, and I'm gonna put that in not for me. I don't really get the love for The Descent, but enough people go on and on about how great it is that I don't want to put it in like saying it's a bad movie. I'm sure I just missed something and probably need to rewatch it. Just at the time I watched it, I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. But yeah, I do think I'm due for a rewatch of that, to be honest. Then there's Detention. I'm surprised somebody put this on this list, to be honest. I'm impressed. Whatever your name was, what was it? Rosalie Vile. I'm impressed. Detention is a fantastic horror comedy with Josh Hutcherson from The Hunger Games and Future Man, which is a great show. And this is I don't even know how to describe it. It's Scream mixed with Back to the Future, mixed with, you know, Friday the 13th or whatever. It's set in a high school. It's a slasher movie with time travel, horror comedy. It is so my thing. And since you can move these in place, I'm just going to put that, like, let's pretend that's like top spot right there. Detention's probably my favorite movie here, but it's very close between all of these. Actually, no, The Conjuring, then Detention. Yeah, let's be serious. And, you know, if I'm bothering to do this, shall I do this? Yeah? No? Is this a waste of time? Probably. It probably looks something like that. Then like this. Then that's probably in place. Cool. Then next up is Donnie Darko, and controversial. I think it's alright. I don't love Donnie Darko. I do love Jake Gyllenhaal, even if he doesn't bathe or whatever the fuck. He said that recently. Did you hear about that person who can't reply to this? I don't know. Celebrities want to tell people that they don't bathe at the moment for some reason. I've just dated this video so much. Then next up is Drag Me to Hell, which I think is pretty alright. I like that movie quite a bit. I don't love it as much as like I think I'm going to. Every time I rewatch it, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna love this. And then I end up thinking, yeah, that was pretty good. So that's where that goes. Then there is Evil Dead, the remake from 2013. I'm gonna put that in not for me. I really have never really liked this movie all that much. I really like the original trilogy, you know, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness are very much my kind of thing. This movie, it takes itself too seriously. I know it gets very bloody and stuff at the end, but like, I don't know. I've never really been into the Evil Dead remake, just for whatever reason. It's not really, I don't know, like knowing me and knowing the movies I like, if you watch my videos, you're probably thinking like, yeah, he would love the 2013 Evil Dead. And I feel the same way. Like, I feel like I would love it, but for some reason I don't. I've watched it numerous times and it never really does that much for me. I don't know why. Then there is, what's this? Freddy vs. Jason. I'm putting that in S tier. I'm putting that in I'm in love. I don't think objectively it's the best of, you know, I don't think that Freddy vs. Jason is objectively better than, I don't know, Black Swan, the Babadook. The movies that I was saying just weren't particularly for me, but I do love it. I do love it more. Freddy vs. Jason is just everything that it needs to be for the kind of movie that it is. So yeah, it gets in that spot. Then there's Fright Night. which I think is okay. Don't have much to say about that one. Then there is Gerald's Game, which I think is a really great film that really goes deeper than you're expecting it to. It's one of those movies that's set in one location. Literally, the main character is stuck in one place. She's chained, handcuffed to a bed because her husband and her were gonna have a sexy time. But that doesn't happen because the husband dies. And from then on, she's stuck and things start to kind of devolve into insanity. I feel that feels disrespectful. She starts to have visions of things from her life, from traumas, from her past and everything. And it's a very well done film that really gets into darker themes than you might expect it to at first. And it really excels at that. It does everything respectfully, even if the way I just described it maybe wasn't the best way to say it. I think Gerald's Game is, you know what? Do I put it in... No, but I will put it there. I think that is a really, really good film. Then there's Get Out. That's gone straight to there. Probably there. That's gone. Get Out is just... It's probably the best horror movie. Oh man, the best movie that came out in the 2010s. I don't know how you could... like. If anybody says it's bad, they are wrong. Objectively, they're just wrong. Jordan Peele is such a good horror director. I can't wait to see what he brings out next. Then there is Green Room. And that's going straight to really great. Absolutely love Green Room, but I'm not going to put it in the top because they can't all be at the top, okay? But Green Room is absolutely brutal. Some of the scenes in that, imagery that will never leave your mind if you do see it, particularly when it comes to destroying a guy's arm. Oh my god. Then there is The Happening. I'm going to put that in, you know what? I'm going to put that in not great, but I'm not going to put that in you can do better or whatever. I'm going to rename that one. Bad. That's a creative name. You know what? The Happening, I'm kind of an apologist for a little bit. I don't really love it that much. Like, I have no feeling for it or whatever. Like, I don't feel like I need to defend it or anything. I don't really care about it that much. But I do think that it's not as stupid as a lot of people make it out to be. Like, everyone's like, haha, the trees kill people. But it's like, no, the trees aren't killing people. It's like the chemicals in the air are fucking with people's brains and stuff and making them want to kill themselves. I just don't think it's as stupid as people sound, even if I'm explaining it stupidly. That's on me. That's not on the movie. But I understand that a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the lines and dialogue are very awkwardly spoken, much like in his most recent, Shyamalan's most recent movie, Old. The acting is clunky and it feels a bit weird. A very unique thing that only Shyamalan can really do. But I do think it's better than it gets credit for. I don't think The Happening is as much a laugh fest as people make out. But yeah, it's not great. I really don't like it all that much. Then there is the first Hostel movie. Not great. I'm going to put that in the not great section. I think that Hostel has huge potential, and I actually do like what it's going for. I think the premise of the underground kind of tortured chamber that you can pay your way into is horrifying, and I do like the second half of this movie where it's all about the main guy kind of escaping from this place and learning that you really can't escape from this place, and that, you know, the kind of suggestion that anybody in the world, somebody that you know could be part of an organization like this, you know, that normal people pay their way, not normal people, but like people that you might know, in real life people may find pleasure in torturing people. It's a very fucked up thing. But what I really don't like about the first Hostel is the first half that just feels like this weird American Pie movie where they go to Europe and they're trying to, you know, have sex with girls and stuff. And I don't know, a lot of time is wasted in that first half, if you ask me. Now, if the movie was not marketed to be a horror movie and it opened like that and we thought it was going to be a comedy movie and then it turns into something like that, that could have been fucking something. That, I think I would absolutely love it, even if it played out the same way. Maybe not absolutely love it because it's still the same movie, but like, I think that would bring it up a notch if it was marketed in this slightly different way and you had different expectations going in. Wasted potential right there, but then again, you don't want to just completely blindside your audience. That's going to piss people off. Anyway, then there's House of Wax. Yeah, that's not great. I don't know, it's fine, I guess. Then there's Hush. That's gone straight to the top, baby. Hush is great. It is about this, it's a home invasion movie about this deaf woman, and you kind of see the challenges that she has because of that and everything, and it's a fantastic film. Then there is I Am Legend, which kind of doesn't fit, like, I guess it's horror, but I don't know. But I do think it's pretty great. I do like I Am Legend quite a lot. Except for the ending. Ending is not great, but I don't know. It is a movie I've seen numerous times. I used to really like it when I was a kid. Yeah, it can go there. Then there is Insidious 2. And you know that's going straight to the top, baby. Insidious 2 is my favorite Insidious movie. And yeah, James Wan again. James Wan! It's James Wan, man. Like, yeah. Yeah, I absolutely love Insidious 2. I like how it kind of starts to play with time. You see things from slightly different perspectives from the first one, where the first one you'll hear like somebody's knocking on the door, they go downstairs and nobody's there, and you're like, oh yeah, ghost shit, whatever. But then in number 2, you find out that it was the main character from Insidious doing that via time travel. And it's amazing. The Further is such an interesting concept, and James Wan really masters what he's doing with it in Insidious 2. Then there is Insidious 3. This one is directed by Leigh Whannell. His directorial debut, if I'm correct. And I'm gonna put that in. Do I put that in really great, or do I put that in it was alright? Honestly, I think I'm going to put that in that it was alright. It's very good. It's definitely better than 4. 4 is the worst one, but yeah, not as good as the first 2. Then the first Insidious, that goes straight to the top one as well. But why isn't that moving? But I do like number 2 more. Then there is, what's next? What's this? The Invitation. I'm going to put that in not for me. It's not for me. I don't know. It really seems like it would be. The premise and everything, I'm all in for that premise, but I don't know. It's kind of like Creep in the same way. It's like that weird mumblecore kind of approach. I don't love it. Then there's It Follows. Yes, it's the STD movie. Ah ha ha ha. How funny. No, it's a great movie. You know what? That goes to top, actually. I changed my mind. Yeah, It Follows is haunting, as the kind of disease that you get is this monster following you around who never stops, who will never stop. They're very slow. You can definitely outrun them, but they'll always be following you. Always have to watch your back. And I find that concept just fascinating. I love It Follows. Then there's Jason X, which I can't put in great, but I do like it. Yeah, it was alright. I'll put it there. Silly movie. Not as good as you would expect, like in a dumb way. Like, I remember going in thinking, yes, Jason's going to space. This is going to be the dumbest fucking thing ever. It's not as like fun as you might expect it to be, but it's pretty fun. Like, it's pretty much what you want it to be. So I'll put it there. Then there's Jeepers Creepers, which, I don't know. Do I put that in bad or not for me? I don't think it's that bad, but I don't think it's that great either. It's whatever. And the director's apparently like some piece of shit or something. I don't know the full details, but controversy and all that. Not a good dude, so let's not talk about that movie much anymore. Then there's Jennifer's Body, which I think that's pretty alright. Oh no, now I'm going to have to start scrolling up and down again. That's bad. I zoomed out so I wouldn't have to do this. Anyway, yeah, that movie is pretty alright. Then there's John Dies at the End, which I remember being quite disappointed by, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I don't know. Really seems up my alley, but I did not love it. Then there is Krampus, the Haunted Santa movie, which I think was alright. Then there's Life After Beth, which is going... Now I've got to fucking keep scrolling up. That's going in really great. I think that Life After Beth is one of the most touching horror comedies, I guess, of recent years, and I like it. Then there's Lights Out. That's going straight up again. Oh no, all the scrolling straight up to really great film. I'm going to zoom out a little bit again. Hopefully there's a bit less scrolling. Then there's The Midnight Meat Train. Now, that is the worst title that could ever exist, but it's pretty good. I'll put it in the alright. I don't remember it fully, but I did watch a video about it recently, another YouTuber's video by a horror YouTuber called Ryan Hollinger, who is fantastic. He was describing the ending of this movie, which I did not remember, which sounds totally batshit. I won't spoil it, but I think I want to rewatch that. If you've seen that movie and remember the ending... It sounds great. I don't remember it. Then there's My Soul to Take, which I remember not being great. Then there is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake from 2010. I'm going to put that in not great as well. You know what? I'm going to put that in it was alright, actually. I don't think that that's as bad as people say. Yes, it's probably the worst of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Maybe that's Freddy's Dead. I don't know. But... yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it. I do think it does some creative things. Then there's the number 23, which is a strange movie to be on this list, to be honest, but I think that is an alright film. I think that's pretty good, and I really love seeing typically, a typical comedy actor do drama or horror or whatever. I love to see that. I think Jim Carrey does great. Then there is Oculus, which I remember being fine. That's Mike Flanagan one, who I absolutely love, but I do not absolutely love Oculus like I do The Haunting of Hill House and a couple of other things that he's done, but yeah, it's alright. Then there's Orphan. You know what? Orphan's not great. If you've seen that movie and you remember what the twist is, and you think that that's a good twist, you'll be tripping, as they say. It's a ridiculous ending, is what I will say. Then there is Paranormal Activity. What's that? 3? I'm putting that in bad. I don't like any of the Paranormal Activity movies. I think they are bad. I think they are bad. They're boring. They're not good. Then there is Piranha 3D, which I think I've seen. I'll be honest, I'm not confident I have, or if I have, I don't think I've seen the whole thing. But I'm going to put that in bad, because there's no way that's a good movie. Then there's the Poughkeepsie tapes, which I think is alright. I think it's more of an interesting movie than it is a good one. I kind of like the idea behind it, where it's this mockumentary exploring this serial killer, but it focuses on the wrong aspect of the story. The right aspect of the story would have been, instead of focusing on the killer, focusing on one of the victims who he holds captive for however long, and then eventually it explores a little bit the effects that this has on this woman who was kept captive by this killer. That is a much more interesting story than what the movie focuses on for the most part, which is quite disappointing. But it's also a very dark and not fun film. This is not an enjoyable watch, but I do think it's pretty good. Then there's the first Purge, which is not the fourth Purge called the first Purge, but the first Purge, the original Purge, which I think is really great, even though it does waste potential and goes down more the alley of just being like this normal home invasion movie, rather than really capitalizing on the idea of the Purge being the first one that came out with that idea. But I do think it is pretty great. Then there's Quarantine, which was accidentally placed there. That should be and haven't seen. I haven't seen Quarantine. I haven't seen Wreck either, actually. So, yeah, there you go. Then there is Raw, which I think is... do I put that in not for me? I really don't love Raw as much as a lot of horror movie buffs, artsy-fartsy cinephiles do, but I do think it does have some good things in there. I'll put it in, I thought it was alright. Yeah. Then there's The Ring, which controversially I'm putting in not for me. Look, I'm sure it's a good movie and whatever. I don't really have any real complaints about it, but I just have never really liked The Ring all that much. There's something specific that irks me about movies like The Ring, okay? And that's that it's this deep investigation to find out what's going on for the whole movie, right? When we already know what's going on, okay? It's a ghost. It's a ghost. Sure, maybe we don't know the whole backstory yet, but like, it's trying to put this logic on something that is illogical, which is a ghost, a supernatural thing. I don't know. I know that there is kind of more to it. There's the reveal of why the things are happening, what's going on, the backstory, but it's just not something that I've ever really been super engrossed by when it comes to that slow investigation of what most of the movie is. And for me, that makes it not rewatchable as well. A lot of people disagree. It's a very popular film, definitely a rewatched film by many, but for me, I don't know. I'm just not into the investigatory kind of element to the horror genre. I just find that kind of slow and boring, personally. But yeah. Then there is Saw, that's Saw 3. Saw 3 will go in really great film, because it's a really great film. Saw 3 is, I don't know, I was about to say one of my favorites. Is it? Maybe. Then there's Saw 2, which I think I'm just going to put them all in really great film, because they are. I do have my complaints about Saw 2, which if you've seen my videos about Saw, you know, which I don't like a lot of the characters that are in the poison, the nerve gas house. A lot of them are dummies, and it kind of bothers me a bit. But it does have possibly the best twist in the series, maybe? Maybe that's not true. But it does have also some of the best character work with Donnie Wahlberg's Eric Matthews and his son and everything, and his kind of conflict with Jigsaw, John Kramer and everything. I do like the character work with that. I do think it is one of the better written films, and I like it a lot. Then there is Saw 4. That'll go there as well. Saw 4 is great. Check out my Saw movie ranking if you want to hear more. I won't say too much more because, you know, I've already said my piece about all of these films. They'll all go in really great because, come on, Saw is fantastic. Underrated as fuck. Where's the first one? There you are, baby. The first Saw gets to go into the top one. I'll put that about there, I reckon. Yeah, the first Saw is easily the best one, but I like them all, as you know. Then there is Scary Movie, which really does not belong here. I'm gonna put Scary Movie in. It was alright. I don't love that movie as much as I used to when I was a kid anyway. I really used to love Scary Movie when I was a kid. But yeah, it goes in that. It was alright. Definitely a classic, but it's, you know, it's a bit dumb. Then there's Scream 4, which can go into really great. Same as Scream 3. Really great. I have no complaints. Check out my Scream ranking video as well. You know, for the ones where I've already focused on ranking the franchise, I won't say too much about. Then there's Shaun of the Dead, which, hell yeah, man, that's going straight up to the top. Shaun of the Dead's an absolute classic. I've seen it easily 30 times or something. Like, I can almost just say the script off the top of my head. I won't try because undoubtedly I'd fail and fuck that up, but I feel like I could, you know? And the confidence, that's what counts. Then there is Sinister, which I think is alright. It's never really been, like, I have rewatched Sinister a few times, always expecting myself to like it more than I did the last time I watched it, and then I don't. I really need to just trust myself more. Like the same with Drag Me to Hell, which I always kind of trick myself into thinking I'm gonna like more. But yeah, I think they're both good movies, but they're not ones that I absolutely love. Then there is Slither, which is not for me. I know it's James Gunn and it's kind of like a comedy as well, and you know me, I love comedy horror, but Slither's just never really done it for me. Then there's Split, which I think is really great. I was going to try and say something that rhymed with split. Like, I think Split is really shit. Damn it. I don't think it's shit though. Anyway, whatever. I think it's good. James McAvoy, fantastic acting in that movie. Then there's Sweeney Todd. Not for me. Nah, it's alright. It's alright. I'll put it in alright, actually. It's a musical horror, so that's definitely unique. I don't love musicals, though, so it's not exactly for me, but yeah. Then there is The Visit, which I'm going to put straight up to, not the very top, but very great. It's a really great film. Perhaps Shyamalan's best, if you ask me. I know The Sixth Sense is great and whatever, but I think The Visit might be my favourite Shyamalan movie. Then there is The Mist, which has one of the best endings of all fucking time. I'm going to put that in really great. Yeah. The tension in the supermarket as all the monsters are, you know, trying to get in and everything. That's what that movie is really about. It's not about the flashy monsters or not so flashy monsters because the movie didn't have that much of a budget. Thanks to Frank Darabont, instead of focusing on instead of getting a bigger offer in terms of how much of a budget he could have to work with, but having to, settle on the ending and change the ending and make it more Hollywood. Instead of doing that, he sacrificed the budget, split it in half so that he could keep the creative decisions kept totally up to him, and he stuck to his guns and made the movie that he wanted to, and I really respect that, and I kind of want to put that in the very top just for that reason, but I'll put it there for now. Then there's Trick or Treat, which is a very popular movie with my peers, with a lot of horror movie people. I'm gonna put it not for me. I don't really get the Trick or Treat love. I don't really get it. I don't know. Maybe it's that I'm Australian and we don't really celebrate Halloween here, so I don't really care for the Halloween, but I don't like it that much. Sorry. Then there's Tusk, which I think is alright. Batshit wild. Definitely a crazy movie, and I feel like I'm underselling it, just saying, yeah, it was alright. But here we are. That's where I'm putting it. Then there is, what's this? The Unborn. You know what? I don't know if I've seen this, but I feel like it would be bad. Then there's Unfriended, which is not great, but it's alright. I don't like the found footage stuff, as I've told you numerous times in this video, but it is a bit more unique, I guess, trying to do the, well, not trying to do, it did do the kind of on-screen Skype type of thing, which was unique for the time, and I appreciate that. Then there's VHS, which I don't think I've seen all of, actually, VHS or 2. I've seen some of the segments. I don't think I've seen it all. So I don't feel like I can fairly rate that one. I'll put that in have not seen, even if I've seen some of it. Then there is The Witch, which I think it's really great. I don't love it. I do think it is pretty slow for my tastes and stuff, but I do think it deserves a pretty good spot, if you ask me. Then there is What We Do in the Shadows. I'm putting What We Do in the Shadows in not for me. I'm sorry. I know people really fucking love it, but I really fucking don't. I'm sorry. I just, I don't know. For some reason, there was always something about this movie where, and it's funny because what I'm about to say makes me a total hypocrite. I thought that it should be a TV show. It didn't really work as a movie since there was no story. That being said, they have since made a TV show and I have not watched it, so fuck me. Then there is The Wicker Man. Is that what that is? Yeah, The Wicker Man. That's bad. The Wicker Man is bad. Then there's Would You Rather, which again, I forgot your name again. Rosalie Vile. I'm impressed. Would You Rather is a really good torture porn movie about these people who, much like Cheap Thrills, are put into this kind of game where they are going to win money for doing unspeakable things, shall we say. And that's very up my alley. I like that a lot. Then there is You're Next, which is probably a more basic home invasion movie or whatever. But if you ask me, it's the better version of... It's kind of like Creep and The Invitation. It's kind of like those movies where it does have that kind of weird tone to it where it's these people just talking shit for some of it and whatever. But when the shit goes down, it goes down. And the main character, she's a badass. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, I love Your Next. Such a good movie. Then two more, and I know already where they're going, okay, so I'm just going to do it at the same time. Hereditary and 2019's Child's Play both go straight to the top. Absolute god tier. Hereditary for very different reasons than Child's Play, but Hereditary is moving, it's heartfelt, it's heartbreaking, it's very much, you know, a movie about grief and family and everything. I do think that the ending is not as great as the rest of the film. I'm not into the whole, I don't know, yeah, it's because they're an evil cult and they're witches or whatever the fuck happens at the end. I don't love the ending, but I really do love everything that leads up to it. And the 2019 Child's Play, which might be controversial because it's a remake and whatever, but I love it. I think it's the best Child's Play movie. So please don't hit me. But yeah, so that is what that looks like. Yeah, cool. If you disagree, that's fine. Okay, now, the next one, we'll just do this quickly because this has gone way longer than I was expecting it to. This is the horror franchise tier list. So starting off, there is A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I love them. Love Nightmare on Elm Street. But that picture right there is of the 2010 remake, which is not great, not the top of the list. But I'm going to take this as it's the whole franchise. And I love Nightmare on Elm Street. It's my baby. Like... So yeah, I'm not going to put that any less than that. Then there's The Conjuring, that goes in the same spot. Then there's Insidious, that goes in the same spot. James Wan, again, you know. Then there's The Grudge. I'm going to put that in yeah, nah. That's the section I've got there. Yeah, nah. Much like The Ring, I just don't love The Grudge. And I've only seen the American remake, the first one, I think. Sorry. It's just not my genre. I just don't think it's the kind of thing that I would love. So yeah. By the way, sorry, I didn't actually explain the genre, the tier list rankings. So love 'em explains itself. Then next up is pretty good. Then there is they're fine. Then there's yeah, nah, not great. Then there's just straight trash. Okay, then next up is Saw. That's going straight up there. Again, James Wan started that one, although I kind of count Saw as more of a Darren Lynn Bousman franchise. He more owns that than James Wan does. He really turned that into, you know, he sort of molded the identity of Saw further on as James Wan left that part of his filmmaking. Then there's Paranormal Activity. Straight trash, bro. Fuck yeah. I don't like Paranormal Activity at all. I think they're extremely boring. I am not captivated by man holding camera. Just shakes everything around. I don't like that whole thing. I don't like, it doesn't make me believe it any more than any other genre or, you know, filmmaking style. It doesn't make me think, oh yeah, like this is real. It just doesn't work for me, and it means that we get to look at crappy camera work for the whole movie where they don't actually have good coverage of what's going on. And it also means that, you know, for the first half, we have to watch this dickhead just like go around filming things for no reason when you wouldn't normally be doing that in real life, so that they can vaguely capture things that are happening. It's like, why are you filming your wife as she's sitting on the couch and whatever? Like, I just don't like found footage, okay? So, Paranormal Activity is straight trash. Then there's The Exorcist. Controversial. I wish The Exorcist wasn't here. I have not even seen all of The Exorcist, and I definitely haven't seen. There's sequels, right? I don't know. They're fine. Okay. Then there's Scream, and that's going straight to the top 2. Look, James Wan and Wes Craven, okay? We got our little fan club going on over there at the top. Then there's Halloween, which I think, as a franchise overall, they're fine. Look, I know the first one is like, you know, it's a classic and everything. I don't love it as much as a lot of other people love it, but it is definitely a respectable classic. But as a franchise as a whole, the sequels are not great. Number 2 is really not as good as number 1. And then, yeah, I don't know. It just gets worse from there, to be honest. I've got things in my eye. Alright, time to take the hood off. This is a good video, isn't it? Okay, whatever. Hood's off. Halloween gets worse as it goes. I don't think it's a fantastic franchise. The remakes are really doing something for me, though. I don't love the first one so far, but I do think it's pretty good. And I'm really excited for Halloween Kills. So we'll see what happens with that one and everything. Rob Zombie ones fucking suck. The Rob Zombie ones almost want me to take this straight to just straight trash, but yeah. Then there's the Friday the 13th series, and that is pretty good. Friday the 13th, you know, it's not my baby like Nightmare on Elm Street is, but you know, it's clearly a classic. A lot of the movies aren't great, but as a franchise as a whole, you know, it's iconic, and I enjoy a number of those movies. Then there's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'll put that in the same. The first one, you know, that it's another one, much like Halloween, that I think is an absolute classic, a respectable movie, but I don't absolutely love it. But I do absolutely love number 2, which is this weird horror comedy movie. And then there's a couple in between that I haven't seen. I think there's 3 and 4. And then there's the 2003 remake, which I think is fantastic. I think it's the best one of the series by far. And then there's a few more remakes. There's The Beginning. There's, what's it called? Just Texas Chainsaw from 2013, maybe. And then there's Leatherface from 2017, which is fairly bad, if I'm being honest. But the series as a whole can go in pretty good. Then there's I Know We Did Last Summer, which is fine. The first movie, it feels much like Scream because it's the same writer, Kevin Williamson. And I do like that kind of teen slasher approach and everything. And there's, you know, that mystery in there to keep you guessing and all that kind of stuff. It's a fun movie. The sequels are absolutely terrible though. And the first isn't great, so yeah. Then there's The Ring. I've already said, yeah, nah. I'll change that to not for me. I don't love those movies. I'm sorry. Then there's The Purge. The Purge as a series. Honestly, I kind of think I'm going to put them in. They're fine because there's 5 movies and 3 of them are good. 2 of them are really bad. I'll put them in pretty good, okay? I think the first movie is good, even if it wastes potential. The second one is fantastic. The third one is good. More the same, though. It doesn't evolve too much over from number 2. 4 is terrible. 5 is pretty bad as well. Then there's the TV show, which is good, but these are movies, right? I think, I don't know. Do I put it in there? Fine. I'm gonna put it. It stays there. It stays there. Then there's Poltergeist, which I've actually only seen the remake. I'm so sorry. And it was fine. I don't know. It can go there. Then there's Final Destination, which is, whoops, pretty good. I love Final Destination. But it's probably not S tier, you know what I'm saying? Silly deaths, everything like that. That's very much what I'm about. Very much my kind of thing. And it's probably my favorite on this tier. So it can go there. And then the last one is Child's Play, which I've been kind of marathoning at the moment. And I'm going to put that in there fine, to be honest. Maybe pretty good. Ooh, I don't know. That's hard to say. Look, I really do like the original trilogy quite a bit. I really fucking don't like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, surprisingly. Again, knowing me, you'd think I'd love them, and I agree, but I don't know. They're a bit too stupid for me. And then Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky are pretty good. Not great though. And then there's the 2019 remake, which I do love. Yeah, look, I think there's more good movies than bad movies in there. I'm gonna put it in pretty good. So that's what that looks like. Sorry there aren't more franchises in here and stuff. Again, I didn't make the tier list. Yes, I could have, but this was supposed to be just kind of a lazy video. So yes, let me know what you think about things and whatever, and cool. That's a tier list for you there. If you want more of this content, let me know, and I'm outie. This went for way too fucking long. Do the things like comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks for watching.